Shelley here, got together for another little video class. We miss you guys terribly. We hope everybody's doing well. Today's class is going to be a little bit of movement, but then we're going to do some longer holds and poses, kind of a variation of a yin style of yoga. We thought it would be a nice offering to kind of offset the more flow classes that we've been putting out. Yin is very much a slower pace, longer holds. A typical yin class would maybe only have 8 to 10 poses in a whole class. You're really looking at lengthening the tissues of the body, looks at the joints a little bit more as opposed to just like stretching muscles. And so I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. If you need a second, you may wanna have a blanket or a towel folded up. So if you need to, you can pause this video and run and grab that. You may not necessarily need it, but it'd be nice to have handy if you get into a pose and suddenly wish you had one. To start, we're gonna actually come to crocodile pose to kind of come to our breath. So find yourself down on your abdomen. Let your feet rest so that they're out wider than the hips, and then if it's comfortable to do so, you can let the inner ankles kind of rest on the floor. And then you're gonna reach your arms forward and grab your opposite elbows. And then finally come to rest your forehead down on the mat. I joke sometimes, but I really mean it. Crocodile pose has changed my life because it's really helped me see how much better you can feel with sort of a better, more finely tuned breath. So use this moment here to really focus on your breath and your abdomen. And in crocodile pose, you can really feel your abdomen kind of pressing the floor away as you inhale and softening into the floor as you exhale. So our breath awareness is always really important in yoga, but I think it's particularly useful in a yin class because sometimes in yin poses you can start to feel a little uncomfortable. And if your tendency is to hold your breath, you'll kind of clamp down and that could make it feel even more uncomfortable. So really taking a second to hone our attention to our breath will come in useful later in class. Notice here as you're breathing into your floor how your side ribs have the room to expand. So you're really able to pay attention to your breath in your side body. You can also feel your lower back kind of lift with the inhale. So take a moment to just breathe into that space. Working on bringing a nice, smooth, flowing quality to the breath. So your inhales and exhales just kind of move and shift into one another. If you enjoy setting intention with your practice, here's your moment to find a word or a phrase that's going to really help you stay focused and feel supported in this class. Couple more breaths here. Just really taking note of how this lower abdominal breath feels, so we can come back to it anytime we need to in this practice. And together we'll take a nice kindred breath. So inhale, fill up the belly, and then exhale, open the mouth and sigh it out. Ha. Good. One more kindred breath. Inhale fully and exhale, sigh it out. Ha. Good. From here, we're not going to travel far. We're simply going to come back carefully to a child's pose. So letting your hands come under your shoulders and bringing your legs back together and carefully press and shift your hips. And you can let your toes come together, but send your knees as wide as is comfortable. So if it's more comfortable to be more narrow, that's fine. And then you can come to rest your forehead on the floor. Again, noticing that you can check in with that lower abdominal breath here in child's pose. One more breath. And next we're going to slowly transition up to tabletop. So finding ourselves in the middle of our mat with our hands stacked underneath of our shoulders and our knees are stacked underneath of our hips. As you inhale, dropping the belly, gazing forward. And as you exhale, pressing the floor away and rounding the spine. Inhale, melt that belly down. And exhale, round, press the floor, tuck the chin. Inhale, melt, creating all kinds of yummy space through the torso of the body. Exhale, round. One more time. Inhale, melt, and exhale, round. Go ahead and release back to a tabletop. Now we're going to rotate our wrists so that our wrists are facing forward and our fingers are pointing back towards our legs. We're going to do a couple of cat-cows. This will just be a really nice wrist warm-up stretch. Taking a moment to make sure you're pressing in through the pads of your fingers so that your hands are really active and sort of taking a little bit of the pressure off the wrists. Inhale, melt the belly. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, melt the belly. Exhale, round the back. Two more times, moving at your pace, at your breath. We really thought about all of our kindred family that's probably spending a little bit more time on their computers maybe than they're used to. We thought an extra wrist warm-up would feel nice. Last time rounding. And then go ahead and release and come back to your fingers pointing towards the front of the mat. From here, we're going to press back to down dog. So taking a second to pedal out your dog. Putting a bend in one knee to stretch the opposite calf. Moving in a way that kind of feels like you're warming up your back body here. Maybe shifting the hips, wagging the tail. Check in with the head, the neck. Notice if you're holding on to any tension there and see if you can soften. From here, we're going to slowly walk our hands up towards our feet. Nope, I lied. Walk our feet up towards our hands. Find yourself in a ragdoll pose. So you can widen your feet if you need to a little bit. Put a nice bend in your knees. Shelley's going to do a slightly less deep variation of this if you find ragdoll to be a little disorienting. So just breathing here, taking a nice deep breath, big opening for the backs of the legs. Two more breaths. And if you've got a hold of your arms, you can go ahead and release them. And we're going to slowly come to stand at mountain pose, hands together at prayer. And this is where I'm going to tag out and have Shelley join.
Awesome. So we're going to do some half sun salutations. So from here, we're going to inhale our arms up, tall mountain. Exhale, bring the hands together, pull them down through forward fold. Keep your knees soft if you need to. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift, flatten the back. And then exhale, fold. Inhaling the arms up, tall mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale your arms up, extended mountain. Exhaling gently, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up. We're going to take the right hand, reach for the left wrist, and on the exhale, drop over to your right. Nice side body stretch here. Inhale back to center, switch the hands, and then exhale, draw over to your left. Nice even breath. Inhale back to center, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale your arms up, extended mountain. Exhaling forward fold. I was a little ahead. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhaling the arms up, extended mountain. This time we're going to exhale the left arm forward and the right arm back, twisting to your right. Gaze back at that right thumb. Bring the right arm down and around. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. Left arm comes down and around. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. One last sun salute. Inhale the arms up, extended mountain. Exhale, pull the hands down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up, extended mountain. We'll add a back bend here. Maybe bring goddess arms for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. One little transition here. Let's inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. We're going to step back to a plank, and then we're going to make our way down onto the knees. And then from here, we'll take puppy pose. So we'll walk the hands forward, keeping the hips stacked over the knees, pressing back. So you can keep the hands straight out in front of you. If you want to drop down onto forearms for a little bit more of a stretch, gaze forward, pressing back. Nice low back stretch here. Keeping your breath. Focusing on your inhales and your exhales.
One more moment here. And on your next breath, we're going to slowly walk our hands back up and out of puppy pose. And then from here, we're going to transition to our seat. So we're going to roll over our feet and ankles and come to a comfortable so in a typical yoga class, we might call this a seated staff pose. In Yin, they refer to this as caterpillar. If you need to take a minute and just kind of move some of you out of the way so you can really have your sits bones grounded. This is definitely a nice place where we're going to do a little bit of forward fold work here. So if you want to have that blanket and kind of bring your lap up to you a little bit to fold into, that might feel really nice. So just from our comfortable forward folded position, we're going to inhale, sit up nice and tall. And then just exhale, start to lower forward. So you can see Shelley's using the support of the blanket here. So we're going to soften into the pose here. We'll be here for several breaths. Like we said, in a typical Yin class, you might be in a pose for 4 to 6 minutes or longer, depending. And so you want this to be very gentle, very kind to yourself. Definitely want to be thinking about your breathing. Taking this kind of pose very gently. Two more breaths here. on your next inhale, slowly lifting back up. And we're gonna transition now to a counter pose that's called tabletop. So planting your feet so they're about hip distance apart. Hands are gonna plant next to your seat. We're gonna inhale and lift up for 5 breaths. So really pressing the floor away, active feet, active hands. Checking in with your breathing, making sure that it's nice and smooth and in your lower belly. 2 more breaths here. And when you get through that 5th breath, we're gonna slowly lower our hips back to the floor and extend our feet forward and find our way back down to caterpillar. So slowly lowering. Couple more breaths. Just finding some softening, finding some space in the body. One more breath. And we'll inhale slowly back up to seated. Tag.
Tag, you're it. All right, so from here we're gonna move to half butterfly. So we're gonna leave that left leg extended and you're gonna fold the right foot inside of the left thigh. If that's not accessible, the foot can be at the calf. And then from here, this is another spot, again, we're gonna be folding forward. So if you want to use your blanket, you can fold it up. This doesn't have to be as active as what we would do in a normal class. You just wanna soften on this fold and just sort of melt into these poses. So let's take an inhale with your arms up. And we're gonna exhale, gently fold over that left kneecap. And again, you can just bring your hands beside you. You can use your blanket for some support. Pressing your right knee open a little bit. And then again, find that breath. Soften into the pose. Using your breath to help release any tension that you might be feeling. And let's hold for 3 more breaths. And then we're going to gently walk your hands back in. If you had your blanket, go ahead and sit it off to the side. And we're going to plant both feet at the edges of your mat. Bring your hands behind you like we did in tabletop, and then gently windshield wiper your knees. Take your time here. Don't rush through this. This is such a good stretch. You're breathing. And let's go to each side one more time. And then coming back to neutral when you go to the left the last time. And then we're going to come back, we're going to extend the legs out. And of course we have to do the other side. So this time that right foot either comes in at the calf, the knee, or up towards the thigh. We'll sit up nice and tall. You can shift your blanket over if you'd like. And then from here, let's inhale the arms up. And on our exhale, gently soften, folding forward over top of that right leg. Again, you can soften into the mat, feeling grounded. Coming to the breath. Make sure you're not holding your breath. A nice, continuous, smooth breath. Three more breaths. And on your third breath, gently make your way back up. Move your blanket if you need to. And again, we'll bring the feet out to the edges of the mat, turning your fingertips towards you. Gently windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And let's just go to each side one more time. One more time to the right. And one more time to the left. Coming back to center, I'll tag Anne again.
All right.
Go ahead.
We're gonna, next we're gonna come down to our backs for a reclined twist. We're gonna spin around.
And this is a nice spot too if you want to use your blanket as a little pillow.
Absolutely, yep. Either under your head, or it also makes a nice cushion under your knee. So we're gonna start by extending your left leg all the way to the floor and then drawing your right knee in towards your chest. Hugging it here for just a minute. Feeling that sensation of the right leg, the right hip. Opening a little bit. Inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to start to send that right leg across the body. So again, here's maybe where you'd want to use that cushion to kind of prop up that knee. So that way you can soften that leg a little bit more if your right leg doesn't extend all the way to the floor. So just kind of relaxing into the pose here. As far as your right arm, you can extend it out from the shoulder or bring it to goalpost arms if that feels better. But we'll be here for several breaths, so we're just working on softening into this twist. Breathing into the belly, noticing how we can really extend our breath into that right side body. Couple more breaths here. Noticing if there's any place we're gripping and just imagining that you're softening there a little bit more. inhaling here. And as you exhale, slowly coming back to center, bending both knees and let both feet plant on the floor for a minute. Just kind of letting our spine come back to center. Also, if it feels good, you can bring your knees and kind of hug them in a little closer to you. Just noticing any sensations on the right side and on the left side. And then if your feet are up off the mat, go ahead and let them plant back down, and we're gonna come to that twist on the opposite side. So if you were using a cushion, you've got a moment to transition it. And then we'll hug that left knee into the chest and send the right leg all the way to the floor. Pausing here for just a moment. Noticing what that does to that left hip. Inhaling, and as you exhale, sending that left knee across the body, and then allowing yourself to sort of melt into the support. You might find, as I now have, that one side needs a slightly higher bit of support, and that's okay. So softening into the twist here, this time really thinking about the expansion of the breath into that left side body, the part that's up. Here for several breaths, so just finding a way to make this comfortable and softening into it. Couple more breaths here. Again, checking in on this side, see if there's any place that feels gripping or tense. And using that space and that breath to soften. One more moment here. Inhale, and as you exhale, slowly rolling back to center, bending both knees, letting the feet plant on the floor, and just kind of letting your spine come back to center, either this way or with your knees lifted. Just enjoying that coming back to center after a big long twist. And then if you've got your feet up off the floor, let them come back to the mat, and then extend your feet out to the floor so your heels are on the mat. From here, we're gonna come to kind of Banasana, or kind of a banana pose. We do this a lot when we're standing in mountain. We'll take a side body stretch. If you've taken our other classes, you know how much a fan I am of side body openers right now. So, but this time we're gonna do it reclining and spend some time here. So inhale your hands up and overhead. And then as you exhale, you're just gonna pick your feet up and shift them off the left side of your mat, and then reach your upper body towards, so you're almost trying to make a banana or a C shape towards the left side. So you're really opening up the right side body here. Breathing into the spaces of those right ribs. Imagine all the space you're creating from your right fingertips all the way down through that right heel. Few more breaths here. Just a nice gentle way to create some space. With your next breath, we'll slowly let our head and torso come back to the center, and then we'll just kind of step our feet back to the middle, suddenly finding all my things are in my way. So taking a second, just coming back to the midline. And then on your next breath, we'll step our feet off to the right side of our mat and lifting our torso, opening up the left side body. If there's anything in your way, just scooching it up and out of the way. Thinking about the space we're creating down the left side, opening up the left ribs as we breathe. Couple more moments here. And with your next breath, letting your head and neck come back to center, and then walking our feet back into center. Taking a moment to just process all that space. And then we'll look forward to a very yummy shavasana.
So go ahead and find your shavasana, bringing your feet out to the edges of the mat, arms beside you. You want to use your blanket under your head, you can do that. Just take a moment to feel supported with your mat, releasing any tension that you might have left over from your practice, softening your gaze or closing your eyes. Coming back to that nice, smooth, continuous breath. Feeling the breath as it enters with a cool feeling and then warming as it gently travels down into the lungs. Fill the lungs with a deep inhale, bringing energy, vitality, and prana, life force, into the body. And as you exhale, feel the body release stress and negativity. Stay with this breath, focusing on the feeling of deep peace. Feel the energy that is in the body. Become aware of the warmth. Feel the energy that's in the extended environment, in every part of nature and every living thing. Bring all those energies together and feel them as one. Visualize all of that energy shining brightly as the sun. Bring the shining glow of bright energy over the crown of the head. Feel it starting to travel down into your body from the top of your head, slowly going down into the face, the neck, and then traveling down into the shoulders, all the way down into the arms, down to the fingers. Feel this healing energy and light going down into your chest, all the way down into the hips. Feel it continue traveling down your legs, all the way down into the toes. Your whole body is now filled with divine healing light and energy. Allow that healing energy to completely fill any physical area that needs healing energy in your body. Feel it warming, healing, and expanding through that area. Allow the healing light to bring peace and healing. Bring your awareness to any intentions or desires that you may have. Hold the thoughts of those intentions or desires as you allow this energy to bring your deepest desires to life and your intentions into reality. Feel your connection to divine energy and light, and know that all is one. Stay with this deep feeling of peace. Carry it with you through your day, and know that you can come back here anytime that you need to. Slowly bringing your awareness back to the room. Begin to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, winding out the wrists and wind out the ankles. Let's take one last full body stretch, extending your arms overhead. Press the toes towards the room and take a nice inhale. And then exhale, drawing the knees in towards you and gently rolling onto your right side. Just taking a moment to acknowledge your practice and to acknowledge that deep feeling of peace. And then when you're ready, press up to a seated position with hands at heart center, eyes softly closed. Thank you so much for sharing your time with Anne and I today. Travel light, live light, spread the light, and be the light. We bring our thumbs to our third eye, our center of our intuition, and together bow our heads and say, Namaste.
Namaste. That was lovely.
I don't know, we should do this yin a little bit more. We're a little more serious during the yin.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, when the time comes that the studio opens up, Jessica Stidham offers an amazing yin class every Thursday night at 7 p.m. So if this week is something that you enjoy, we really encourage you to come and try out her class. It's a really nice counterpoint to a more vigorous vinyasa class. It's also really nice for people who do other kind of vigorous sports to really just kind of chill and relax and enjoy a different kind of stretch. So if that's something you're looking forward to, hopefully you can try it when we can someday open. But until then, we send our love and light and good wishes to everybody.